Alright, what's up guys, Single Player Nacho here. I hope you're ready for an overnight stay at one of the many gorgeous, totally not murderous, mansions and castles in the Resident Evil series. These illustrious facilities are equipped with the squeakiest doors on the planet, complex puzzles for whatever reason, and of course, certain death. We'll be ranking the absolute best locations in terms of overall style and effect they've had on the lore. Let's get to it. In case your fill of Wesker isn't satisfied, there's always Alex Wesker at home. Alex's home, however, is mansion-like in appearance, and we can only catch a glimpse of it. That's why it's not very high on this list. In your first steps, you'll notice a checkered floor, which is never a good sign, and in the hall to your left, a decaying corpse. They make great furniture. Not a lot of time is spent here, but from what we can see, this mansion carries a haunting atmosphere with high ceilings, disturbing red carpets, and of course, creepy paintings. Combine all of those things with the revenants and splashers, and it's an oddly satisfying mix that works very well. There's also a couple of journals and diaries left behind that gives us an idea of the atrocities committed by Alex. Crazy mutant lady lives in a crazy spooky mansion. It makes too much sense. For our sake, however, it's best to stay far away from this place. One look at James Marcus and you know this guy owns a piano. Surely enough, the research facility not only has a piano, but tons of strange props and statues that adds to the horror. There's a giant chessboard along with its pieces that sets off poison upon making an incorrect move. They sure as hell take their chess game seriously here. The place has a full dining room that is now inhabited by zombies. I can tell you there is nothing on the menu at the research facility that looks tasty. Seems as though the zombies ate their leftovers too. At the entrance of the facility, the place resembles a historical cathedral, adorned with torches, paintings, just about everywhere you look, rooms and hallways on every direction in sight. I'd easily get lost here, but I'd be so indecisive of which area to explore first, and die in. A bit of a hidden detail is the painted on ceilings that cover the place entirely. It looks heavenly, but as we all know, this place is anything but that. I guess you can say a lot of angels were made here, so there's that. Say what you will about Resident Evil 0, the Umbrella Research Center is masterfully designed. The 3D backgrounds are dark and eerie, giving the game an otherworldly appearance. There are just so many things that pique my curiosity in this place, with every little detail and statue that has a grim undertone. Even the sound design is great. You'll hear the sounds of your footsteps change as you step over glass. There are tons of horrible things that happened here, and that's perfectly hinted at with the amount of bodies and torture tools laid around this gem of a mansion. That's the thing though, it's not really known as a mansion, it's officially a research center, but I'd call it a mansion. A mansion that also contains an awesomely designed cavern area, complete with medieval era puzzles and statues. There's lots to do, lots to see here, and the research center is one of the best designed, if not the best, mansion areas in the series. I think we can all agree that the Baker house is one big ass house. You can pretty much call it a mansion. Is it a nice, lavish mansion? Absolutely not. This place is a molded hellhole with not a lot of southern hospitality. In fact, it's quite the opposite of that.
Word, please. You're fucked!
The main hall splits into two totally different spots. On the right you have the Baker family rooms, kitchen, dining rooms, and garage. But the left side of the house is a genuine nightmare. The basement features an autopsy room. Let me repeat that, an autopsy room. What kind of house has an autopsy room? Worse yet, this place also has an entire meat packing plant, complete with rotten animal carcasses and meat processing machines. Yuck. The patio serves as a large middle area for the rest of the estate. The agriculture and trees are still somehow thriving and surviving all of the decaying ooze in this place. Zoe's trailer is kind of a safe place away from Lucas's rave warehouse or Bugpoon's old house. For what it's worth, the Baker house and all of its surrounding areas are designed very well, and some find everything about these areas extremely frightening. A little bit of history about this place is that it was originally designed by the Trevor Company, who infamously designed the first Spencer mansion. The Baker home doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to creepy puzzles and statues. I gotta say, the Baker house is top tier for what it's trying to accomplish. A story of innocence lost, a family afflicted by a shady corporation. This once normal family household is tattered and torn. The rotten surfaces and walls paint that picture perfectly. It's a scary place that just screams Resident Evil. Welcome to the Spencer Estate, located in, well, an undisclosed location in Central Europe. Upon first glance, it's easy to mix up the Spencer Estate with the Spencer Mansion, but there's a pretty good reason for that. This is actually Oswald Spencer's family home, where zombie Hitler himself was raised. In love with the design of his family's estate, Oswald ordered George Trevor to recreate his family's mansion to its entirety in the Arklay Mountains. So this is the original mansion. Outside of its design, it also bears a resemblance in terms of, horrible, indescribable monsters residing within. Sure, the dining hall and fireplace is there. Even a little reference to the dog jump scare in OG Resident Evil 1 is found at the windowed hall. But what lies beneath is unbelievably miserable. Ancient torture devices and prison cells. Name a better Oswald Spencer duo. Worse yet, monsters known as blobs guard the place, as if Spencer is paying them for security guard duty. In fact, these things were once servants of the Spencer family, which gives you an idea of just how lovely the Spencers were. The further down you go into the Spencer estate, and it doesn't get any better. Overall though, it does feel like a mini RE1 mansion with not a lot of presence or detail, but the scares are definitely still there. In Resident Evil 4, you actually arrive at Salazar's castle, running for your life from angry villagers, thinking it is a safe haven, and it is not. The Salazar Castle is one of the biggest locations in this video, with endless rooms and floors, so it's going to be ranked pretty high. How does the Salazar Castle use up all this space it has to work with? For one, the outer castle wall has some amazing action set pieces. Catapults and brain-dead cultists greet you with really only one thing in mind: morir est vivir. The castle is also home to the renowned pool chamber, known for being one of the most difficult parts in Resident Evil 4. Salazar welcomes you with a distinct voice and look, along with two mysterious and definitely scary bodyguards.
Who are you?
Me llamo Ramon Salazar, the 8th Castellan of this magnificent architecture. I have been honored with the prodigious power from the great Lord Sadler.
The amount of mystery that's going on, even within the first couple of minutes in the castle, is what makes it a great experience. There is something that needs to be said. When common or simple things that you would find in a castle, like long dinner tables and royal furniture paintings, are mixed in with an insane cult, it makes you wonder how these creeps are actually living normally, day to day, eating luxurious meals. The Gatador prison chamber is so well proportioned for a mini boss fight. He also is just cool as hell looking. The Novistador basement, I guess we'll call it that, subverts the posh and neatness of the castle for a dark and dank, insect-filled water world. The traps are so insanely big. Like, who actually had the time to, make these? I'm really just scratching the surface, but overall, Salazar's Castle is the destination to check out for every horror fan. You might want to wash your hands after visiting, though. That goes for every location on this list. In a nutshell, the Ashford Estate is the clusterfuck that happens when two insane virus siblings take over a large prison facility. And I'm talking insane. The complex that surrounds the estate is where most of the horrible events occurred. The prisoners that once inhabited this place are now flesh-eating zombies. The Ashford siblings' residence, however, is a complete 180 contrast. It's beautifully lit with great architecture, pristine edges, plush cushions, whatever riches were left behind for Edward and Alexia to soak in. The single coolest thing about the Ashford Estate is the old war theme laid throughout. Gold Ruger guns, little war trinkets, and ships gives the player an idea of how powerful the Ashford family really is. Okay, outside of the work decorations, the private residence features the biggest art piece I think I've ever seen in a Resident Evil game, the suspended doll. It takes up most of the room in this place, and you gotta wonder, who the hell designed this thing? The doll is just further confirmation of the insanity of this place. It's filled with fantasy, just like the location and its inhabitants. It's a chilling place overall.
You don't fool me! I am Alfred Ashford, commander of this base.
Oh? You must be one of Umbrella's lower level officers if you're in command of a backwater base like this one.
How dare you!
And welcome to where it all began, the very first gigantic mansion we've ever set foot in. The single most influential area that would go on to set the tone for the next decade's worth of RE games. Puzzles, tone, traps, creaky footsteps. That's what makes a Resident Evil mansion. I'd like to focus on the original mansion found in OG Resident Evil, and just how iconic this hellhole is. The emptiness that the central hall evokes fills every square inch in this place. The fluorescent lighting, endless red carpet, it just gives off this spooky setting, sure, but for whatever reason, it also gives off a sense of aloneness. Unless you're playing Jill's side, of course, then you have Barry there with you. In retrospect, exploring this place really reminds you of how much of a gem Resident Evil is. These pixelated props and backgrounds just look like separate art pieces. The colors and the lighting match up very well. It just flows together. Every area is also just squeaky clean looking. Then we have the remake, which has totally changed my perspective of the Spencer Mansion. Now we have this rotten, dark, and ominous place. And perhaps my favorite addition in the remake, nothing but absolute silence. Both of these atmospheres are pretty different, and yet work synonymously with the respective game's different tones. Light and Empty works with a goofy PS1 title. Dark and Decaying works with a more serious remake. And here's a little reminder that there was once a fully operating amusement park Spencer Mansion, recreated to look like it does in the games. What a treat it would have been to check out. If you've ever wondered what a Resident Evil game would look like set in the 1600s, the Dimitrescu Castle is a fantastic place to start. Head to toe. This is the ultimate castle and possibly the best designed location on this list. There's many words that can be used to describe this place, but what best sums it up is beautiful. And maybe blood. There's lots of blood in this place. The main entrance will take you back to the very first time you played Village's demo or just the regular game. I was shell-shocked at this gorgeous creation. Where some Resident Evil mansions or castles are fronts for labs or end-of-the-world scenarios, this place is actually a bit more simple. A winery. A winery that uses human blood, of course. The blood pool, the puzzle that accompanies it, reminds you of how Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters view everyone else. We're just animals for their consumption.
Mother, I bring you fresh prey.
You are so kind to me, daughters. Now, let's take a look at him. Well, Ethan Winters.
And this place makes you feel that entirely. You just feel tiny. And perhaps the coolest part of the Dimitrescu Castle is that you can actually hang out on its various rooftops. Now you can see it for its sheer size. This place is absolutely humongous. I mean, it has to be for Lady D, right? The other thing that took me out was Alcina's big-ass bathtub. Holy shit, that's huge. The newest game is obviously going to have the coolest graphics and details, there's no denying that. But the amount of hard work and dedication put into the Dimitrescu Castle has to be taken into consideration. This is a place that not many of us are going to forget in the near future. If you like watching Resident Evil walkthroughs and horror game walkthroughs, check out the second channel. I've started uploading again. It would mean a lot. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Which was your favorite mansion or castle in the Resident Evil series? Which one did you die in the most? That's probably a better question. Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror lore, lists, and mysteries. Have an awesome rest of your day. And as always, stay single.